everyone, my name is Naomi Sotera and I'm the author of the book Forgiveness and Healing. Thank you for joining me as I read the book out to you. How is your book reading going? Today we're going to be touching on the story of Andile in the book, and I'm going to be paraphrasing the story. Andile in her community and society was like a role model. She went to church where she took part in different activities, and even at home in her family, she was loved, she was responsible. She ran all matters of her house well, and she was married to a loving husband. However, Andile was waiting for the blessing of the fruit of the womb. Both her husband and herself, they were waiting on God for them to be blessed with a child. And they'd been married for quite a number of years. And there were talks within the family. Muchati pa msukuru rini. Chawano mwana rini. But Andile kept, her faith was actually quite strong in the Lord. And she would just encourage herself in the Lord, saying to herself, when the time is right, God will give us a blessing, and a child is a gift from God. So Andile just continued life like that. And at some point, all these conversations around it, the bickering around it, at some point, all of that stopped. But unknown to her, the husband's family was planning something, It was only on the husband's birthday where the news was brought to her attention that her husband actually had made another woman not only pregnant, but now there was a child who was about 2 years old. Andile was shocked. Andile was shattered because she really loved her husband. And the husband had vowed to her that whatever may come our way, we'll be together strong and I'll always stand by your side. Andile was shocked. Akatombokumbira kubva pamba apa, rather than akutokumbira, akatongotora nhumbi dzake nemasisters ake anga aripo akambobva, and she went and she stayed with one of her sisters. But in this time, her husband would always come each and every day, and he would apologize. This other woman that was in the picture, she wasn't told actually that this man was married. The family had initiated something kuside kwavo. They got drunk, one thing led to the other, and she had a child now. That didn't justify the actions of her husband. The husband was responsible for what he did. At the end of the day, Andile was really hurt. What made a difference in Andile's life was the community that was around her. Initially, it was one of the elderly ladies from church that would come and see Andile each and every day just to talk to her. And she encouraged Andile to write up, to journal her thoughts that she was having on a day-to-day basis, such that she'll be able to see what kind of thoughts she's having. When she started doing this, the journey became lighter for her and easier for her, because all that heaviness that she was carrying was being lifted a day at a time. Andile had a family that was around her that kept on, supporting her, encouraging her. And whatever decision that she was going to take, the family was in full support. From the plan that God had for marriage was that marriage is actually for permanence. However, in cases like this for Andile, God gives the provision to say, one can actually come to a place where they say, I cannot continue with this marriage and I would want a divorce. The word of God says, be diligent in protecting your heart, for all issues of life will come out of it. Andile was strengthened by the community that was around her. They shared the word to her, and that God's plan for her, even in this difficult situation, everything was going to turn out well. Eventually, Andile came to a point of forgiving her husband. It was a process. Some of the things that they did in their marriage during that time was the husband was fully accountable to her for his actions, his movements, access to his phones, access to his work emails and everything, and even how he took care of the child. The other woman, however, because she did not want also to be in such a setup, she actually left the child to be taken care of by the grandmother, because all of this, she thought that this man was not married and she was not comfortable with this setup. So Andile was also quite fully involved in everything that happened around the boy. And with time, Andile came to a place of not only forgiving the husband, but she started taking care of the child. And God blessed Andile with twins. What do we learn from this story? There are so many concepts that we learn from it. The first one is that every woman deserves a chance, or every person deserves a chance to be able to fight for their marriage. whatever that looks like for you. It's not everything in marriage that, contrary to the messages that we hear, she was able to keep going on in the journey because of the wise counsel that she received. There is nothing wrong for her to have opted for a divorce. The grace of God was still going to carry her, but she chose to remain in the marriage, and the grace of God still carried her through under such difficult circumstances, and she was able to forgive, she was able to release, let go of the husband, and come to a point of reconciliation. So there are so many things that we learn in this. We learn about the aspect of community. Marriage is one area that even the word of God says we need to be taught. It actually reads, you older women, teach the younger women how to love their husbands. The verse continues going, but it's one of the areas that we actually do need to be taught, such that we're able to walk in it, because it's so hard. It has so many challenges. This is what Andile had to go through, which was a mountain for a marriage. What is the mountain that you're going through in your marriage right now? Do you think that the grace of God is sufficient to be able to carry you through this difficult situation? What type of people do you have around you? Are those people giving you wise counsel that is also related or linked to the word of God, where wisdom will be established on your matter? All these things, they're actually very important and key where we are talking about the foundation of marriage. I hope you were blessed with the story of Andile, and that you also did find some answers as well, some of the things that you may also be going through in your own life. Thank you.